custom settings. So far, that's the only demo we have, so that should be good. Dim.
I can probably demo custom settings.
Or?
I haven't really got anything else to demo this week, actually. Maybe next week.
Okay, good. Custom settings. What else? What else do we want to demo? I'm secretly hoping, well, not more secretly than Sipke will join and show us the dynamic routes, but not yet, apparently. Zoltan will demo the audit try module?
Not yet, something else.
Status first. So what happened since last week? Maybe this one, 21st, yes. And Triage updated UI for projection, which is that some things were too small. So now it's updated to be less small, less medium, more large. And that's what happened last week on Orchard 1. Then Orchard Core. Last week was 19th, which is around that. Here, Antoine updating things during the meeting, apparently. So this one, oh, no, I don't want to do that. HTML script sanitizer that we merged last week. Yeah, during the meeting, we merged it. We merged also the new SDK. Fixed typo content deleted event, which would trigger the wrong event. A content deleted event, which was triggering the wrong event. Add cursor overload to CultureDictionaryRecord, just API design to have more overloads. Same thing, API design. Favicon for light and dark browser tabs. Until your tab is blue, and then you don't see it anymore. Probably. But nobody has blue tabs, right? For now, or they will find an issue to complain. That's okay. All the icons everywhere.
Well, you know, every change or every bug fix breaks somebody else's workflow.
Yeah, that's why we don't accept any change sometimes. Updating Fluid and YesSql to fix issues. In Fluid, I don't remember what. In YesSql, it's to be able to track objects that have been saved and then modified again after a flush. It's been technical, but Jean-Thierry found an issue. Oh yes, in Fluid, everything is a decimal now and not a double. Because when you do 10 minus 0.9, you want to see 9.1 and not 9.000000009 when you output something. That's a new default in Fluid now, and that's the default actually in Ruby. And that's also the way now .liquid works. Add service provider to shape created context so you can resolve services in more shapes. Descriptors. Oh, that's a test. I was like, what kind of code is that? And that's a test. Okay. Typo and plural. Yes and no. And Zoltan is here and he can argue that, but I agree with the way that we should say indices, but it's not an issue to say indexes here. So we should not have to change the code everywhere for just changing the code, because it's good for someone, it's bad for someone else. So it's in the code, we usually use indexes like this, but indices is also correct. Zoltan will say it's more correct.
Exactly.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think it's worth changing the code. Code mirror 554 because it's greater, so it's better. Some bug fixes. I looked at the release notes. Deploying packages on Cloudsmith. So that's part of the topics. So now if you want to use the preview feeds, which used to be on get. They are still on my get, by the way. They are still on my get. So, but now we updated. Did you update the badge? Yes, thank you. I didn't see it passing. We'll see it later. So now if you want to get the, it's called here nightly, but we call it now preview. Dev branch packages, you have to change your NuGet feed URL to this feed because Zoltan, did you find them or? Yes, you mentioned them in the issue and then they found it. You mentioned different options and you found this one, which is super nice for open source project because it has 100 gigabyte of storage and 1 terabyte of bandwidth, where usually we get 500 megabyte, well, I don't know, 1 gigabyte of storage and like 1 gigabyte of bandwidth, something like that. So after 3 guys who downloading it, then we can stop. Also, we could only store 8 versions on MyGet to get to the 500 megabyte limit. So this one is less limited, and we were about to actually host a solution to be able to own to not have limit for that. We talked about it during an older meeting. So this one is much nicer until they really realized that they made a mistake by allowing us to do that. I still added a retention for 180 days on this feed because I don't want to use everything just for the fun of using everything. I should not have a year to host a dev package is sufficient. If someone is using a dev feed, they should follow it, or I hope we will release at least every 6 months on NuGet, so that should be sufficient.
Well, that's already not happening, you know. The
almost
it was in September.
Yeah, but it's not even an issue. I mean, if you 6 months on the dev feed, you have a problem.
Yeah, well, part of the problem is that we don't have an RC2 yet. So generally, I would agree, but at this stage, you can't expect people to not use the dev feeds because they can't use anything else.
I agree, but I mean, let's use the dev feed on me, and you will have 6 months to update.
Yeah, but to say that we also need to have actual releases at least every 6 months.
I will not disagree with pushing forced release every n month, whatever the state is. And even if we call them beta on NuGet, I will be okay with that. I don't want to use a nightly on NuGet. I'm not even sure they will allow us to do that because they complained about some other packages that were doing that and they were much smaller than us. But yes, I would agree with not pushing big releases, but like on a scheduled basis, every month, every 2 months, whatever the state of dev is, and call it a beta for the next version.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
So today we shipped RC1, we shipped RC2. We can't say RC2 beta whatever. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Or one, but after 1.0. If we could ship like the 1.1 beta every month, and then when we ship 1.1, it's 1.1, and then 1.2 beta every month, and so on. So this way, if people want to follow the dev feed on a more official basis, that will be good also.
Yeah, and, on another side, that will also motivate us to have a very streamlined release process, so we can actually do that frequently, which should be beneficial for every user of Orchard.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone have issues with shipping on the schedule?
No, I think it's quite a positive idea. Good for the community.
And it's a beta, so it can be broken. If they want to use this version, they can. And then if they want to use a more frequent one, they can go on Cloudsmith. And something like 1-2 months, 1 month will be totally fine, will be good. Because usually people find an issue like after some time and, oh, it's already fixed. Okay, well, hopefully they won't even see the issue because it will be fixed in the next month that we ship the bug. Okay, and it works. I assume people have tried because some people said it was working. I liked the experience. The doc was great. I had one issue only. I have to find an issue with them, which is if you are from AppVeyor and publish to their feed, their official URL, AppVeyor doesn't follow the metadata from the JSON document, which states use the V2 feed, the V2 API to push NuGet packages, and AppVeyor tries to use the V3 that is set in the parameters, and it doesn't work. So I had to hard code the V2 feed. Let me show you if that makes sense. This is defined in this file. So before the change, we were deploying on, so the dev branch on myget. We are still deploying the dev branch of myget on myget until we decide to stop doing that. Everyone is supposed to move to Cloudsmith, okay? And this is a V2 API just to push packages, because if you use the V3 API or endpoint, then it won't work for pushing from AppVeyor, but from the .NET tooling, it works fine. So it's a bug between Cloudsmith and AppVeyor, but the issue is in AppVeyor actually. They don't follow the link from that. And Cloudsmith could document also that if it doesn't work, use the V2 package. If you want the feed URL, you can go in the documentation. There must be a getting started or here, configure dev package source. Preview feed. Oh, the screenshot, I didn't know the screenshot. I edited the file, I didn't see the screenshot, but this is the URL you need to set. So we need to update the screenshot also. I was just looking to replace text and not. I saw the file name, which was mentioning myget, but I didn't care about changing the file name. It was fine, but I didn't look at the screenshot. So that's wrong. I need to change that. And this is the feed you need to use now. Okay. And if you look at the feed, that will explain what I was saying. If you look at the feed, you will see that it says legacy gallery, package publish. You see the feed is a V3 endpoint, but it says if you want to publish, use this URL. And apparently AppVeyor doesn't follow that. It's just using the endpoint here to publish directly. That's the issue I had. But okay, done. Done. Updating package repository name, and then all the changes to, you see, that fail, and then trying to make it work until it works. Upgrade npm packages. graceful file system, is it related to the test framework that Jean-Philippe is using?
No, it was because there is a vulnerability with the file dash system.
Okay. Does it mean that there is no more displayed vulnerability here? Oh, there are still.
The themes.
Okay. jQuery.
Because it's expecting 3.5.1.
So this we can change easily, but the theme itself is still referencing user one. Okay. Updating the badge, nice badge, training demo link. Session save usage, because now the fix has been pushed in YesSql, so you don't need as many saves as before. Replace input by text area in HtmlField.Edit. So I didn't understand your change or Dean's comment. Is it related? So it's related to what was it? I saw the PR.
Yeah, it's losing line breaks if you use an input.
Okay. And it was a single line.
Yes.
HtmlField, and this is a standard editor.
But an HtmlField is using by default code mirror.
Oh, I see.
Because it's code mirror.
I see. It's bound. It's an input which was bound to code mirror, so you could type new lines, but they were lost because it was an input.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Code mirror wants textarea. Okay. Update code generation templates. Fixing stuff here. And safe mode theme. Okay, good. Oh, yeah. Okay, all the changes. Questions, comments? So, Cloudsmith RC2. I'll take the rest after. RC2. What you call issues, milestones RC2. There was one thing that was blocking RC2, which was the sanitization. There is another issue with sanitization. So we gave sanitization a few days to find issues, and fortunately, we gave it a few days because people found, and not just one, like many people found and filed the issue that when you edit HTML, it's now removing all the classes. So, and apparently you also found this one, but didn't fix it because the sanitizer can be configured. It's too much sanitizing now. So it's also removing all the classes from HTML, and it's configurable. Anyone can change the configuration, but now the default is to allow the attribute class to be kept in HTML. And when I saw that, I was like, it's not like, oh, let's enable the classes because classes was removed. It's just that it's removing all the attributes, or what's the list of attributes that it's accepting? What's the default for allowed attributes?
Yeah, so there's quite an extensive list of allowed attributes. It's Google HTML sanitizer. Oh, that one, yeah.
This one, right? The Angular Sharp one.
Yeah, and down further, it's on the home page what's allowed by default.
Tags allowed attributes. Okay, yeah, I was afraid that we will have to do it for every thing that could bother people. Okay, class, okay, and class attribute is not in the whitelist. Okay, I see. So this is ready. We found the thing that people complain about, which is a class one, but okay. So this is a safer option, but we can remove that because that would be hard to find an issue with this one. Okay, so that seems like a good list. So that's less worrying. Not like this one, required. Well, people will use that. Size. They have shapes in HTML. We should have used HTML instead. Okay.
Scroll down a little bit further. I just saw something. Does it allow style by default? Yeah, it does.
Apparently, because style must be there.
Cool, because that will be the other one that people will be wanting.
I can't find style. Oh, I was looking in tags. Okay, style is there, and then in the styles, they allow that. Okay. Yeah, there was a comment from one of the person who filed an issue saying it should have displayed that it removed the classes, and you said it's hard because it's changing so many things that we can't say what it removed. I was wondering if if HTML sanitizer was actually saying that it removes stuff and not just reformatting, like reformatting an img tag into img tag without the slash is fine, but removing stuff, it should tell us that it removed stuff. It's interesting. Ideally, it should tell us, and we could then display some things were removed. If not, say what. I tried in WordPress, and in WordPress, it tells us that it has been sanitized. When it removed the script or an unclick tag or things like this, it tells us, oh, the thing that we saved is not the thing that you entered.
Yeah, I think it's a bit tricky because of the way AngleSharp works, or the way it works with AngleSharp, but maybe we can open an issue here and find out if it's possible.
What is HAP? Removing tag event handler. So there are event handlers, so apparently it's possible. So that would be good to do, because if there is if there is a removing tag, I'm sure there is a removing attributes. Boom. Removing tags. Remove attribute, remove style, remove. Okay, so we can do that. We can register to the events and then say these elements were removed, this tag, this attribute, and so on.
Nice. I did not see that.
And we just as a notification, a warning.
Probably just a notification, I'd imagine, because model state would, yeah.
A notification and good. So people, exactly like in WordPress, and people then see that something has been removed.
Yeah, we probably won't be able to get that with Markdown, but with HTML, no trouble.
And a link to maybe the doc to explain how to disable that or whatever, because people will ask them. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it should be an option actually to receive notifications, because sometimes you don't want to tell people that things like that are happening, because if they're actually attacking the system, they shouldn't know.
No, that's fine. Don't try to hide the security, because we have more people complaining that they didn't know that it was removed than people complaining that, oh, I found a security issue because of that. No. Let people know that if you type something and it was removed, you want to know. Otherwise, either they file issues or the editors they won't know that something was removed, and they will publish something that doesn't work.
Yeah, fair enough.
And if they are already typing something that was removed, I mean, they are doing something wrong, they should not type that. So they should know. And I don't think it will be that case every time, because usually you don't type something that is removed, like on click or scripts.
Yeah,
So,
this is the rare stuff that we're trying to protect against.
yeah, and a link to the settings, maybe to say this is how you enable. If you really want to update to type that, then go to the settings and disable sanitization.
Yeah, or contact your administrator.
Yeah, that you can do that. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's good. I've thought about it. So RC2, we merged that. There is an issue that we should merge. I think that's good. Antoine, we merge it. That's perfect. That's how it says to do it. Okay. And then I was on the RC2 issues. What do we need? RC2 validation, data message if I cannot convert this, so this will be fixed. So this is the thing we need to check. What is not checked then? Test the guides. So we need to test the guides that were made. Just at least one person to do that for each guide. That should be easy. With the new packages from Cloudsmith.
So is RC2, the RC2 branch, is that pushing to Cloudsmith as well? Like,
no,
how,
but
how can we get a package build to try it is what I'm asking.
Yeah, on dev. Everything is on dev right now. We haven't merged to RC2 with the new RC2 tagging. So there's still an RC1 tagging. So yes, so should we merge to RC2 before doing the test guide? Okay, let's do that. So the version will actually match an RC2 feed. Okay. So I don't know. Where is the merge? Merge release RC2. Do I have a merge something for dev? Nope. Sign on this is at the end. I will order later. This goes together with that. Update PO files. So PO files, we need to work with them. Point to NuGet.org for translation packages. So this is all about translation. Maybe we could have a section for that, subsection. Merge tag. This is just tag management. Testing packages, update website. So this is just after then the release. To be able to ship, we just need to test, to do that, merge and test. That's the only thing that's remaining. That and translations. So we should start with translations and then merge dev to RC2 when. Oh no, the RC2 branch should point to I have to check for translations what we do. I don't remember. I think we need to change translations to go also on Cloudsmith. I haven't done that. I didn't think about it. They are still going to migrate. Okay, I will do that. Unless someone wants to do it, but it should not be hard. We need to change the Alveyor script on translation repository to do exactly what we did for myget. I don't know if we are using the same feed. I think so. So that's the only issues that need to be done. We'll do a check on Thursday for last triage to see if there is something we want to merge to RC2, but then just handle the translations and merging to RC2, and that should be ready for shipping.
I guess with the translations, we need to do RC2 release to NuGet first so that we can reference that release ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, because we need to, well, I don't think so, because we just need to deploy RC2 NuGet package. Oh, because we point to a specific version.
Yeah, the version by default
right.
that we point to is the RC1 version.
Right.
I don't even use the translation NuGet feed because I don't need to. But people will.
Okay. So we need to deploy to NuGet first. I'm sure we talked about it last time. Yeah, point, that's it, that's written. That's already there. So next is translation then. Okay, questions?
So sorry, what did you reorder there? Because I'm trying to follow that in the documentation that I'm creating about the release process.
I didn't reorder any. I just reordered the test guides after merge dev to RC2. That's the only thing I did.
Okay.
But I think we need to introduce sections like branch management, translations, things like this, because
that's I've done that.
Okay.
Actually, it would be probably good to have some kind of a release feed. There's the preview feed, but if you want to test out everything that's updated with all the version numbers and everything, then that would already happen in the release branch, I would think.
We have an RC2 branch, and last time that's how we did. We pushed on myget also, and that's fine because on the feed there will be RC1 prefix and RC2 prefix.
If you are getting rid of myget, then the same should happen on Cloudsmith as well. But okay, that's okay?
I mean, there was no two feeds, there was a single feed, and there is still a single feed on Cloudsmith. So if we move to RC2, on Cloudsmith, on the single feed we have, there will be packages with the RC2 prefix.
What I mean is that during the release process, when you are testing the packages, and if you want to test them with the actual version number and everything, so change to RC2 in this case, then those version number changes wouldn't happen in the dev branch, I would guess, but in the release branch. So we should
in the RC2 branch, yes?
Yes, so we also should create packages for the RC2 branch. Is that already happening?
It will happen by default.
Oh, okay, great. I thought this was just for the dev branch.
You might be right. Yes. So this has to, okay. This is the same feed, but we need to change the AVR file. You're right. We need to change the AVR file to also target the release branches to deploy that. I see. Yep. Let me see. Someone can create a PR if I don't do it before. So the idea here is the AVR. What do we need to change? Yep, we can add a. How do you call the branch? Release RC2. It's interesting because depending on the repository I manage, it has a different meaning. But in this case, we want to build, so we will assume that master is the thing we deploy on NuGet.org. Dev is the latest dev, and so we can add here release /star to build the branches. No, yes, we need, because we want to deploy. And here, we also need to add for these two, which point to dev. I don't know if we can pass an array of branches here, but we also need to add release/star. And that will be the only thing to do. And then it will upload on the same feed also for this branch. And this branch has the RC2 prefix. So there will be RC2 packages created. And that's the requirement to get to test the guides to publish on this feed. And we can already do that. I'll check later on the doc. Okay, so I'm not adding it as a step for this thing because it's not part of the RIS branch. It should be done by default automatically. So we need to update the app layer to support the RC2, the release/star branches. The same thing as dev. Someone can create a PR and I will review it and merge it. We just need to check in the app layer documentation what's the format, or if we need to clone the section just for a branch. I hope not. Okay, RC2, new websites from H. I didn't mention that last week, I forgot. Game websites using Orchard Core, and they are all the same, okay? Which makes sense somehow. With a nice GDPR module.
If you're listening, Peter, we need the GDPR module.
Not for RC2, but we need a GDPR module like this. But GDPR is always changing. It's kind of boring.
Complicated.
But yes, we need one, definitely.
Or alternatively, we can weaponize Orchard Core, and that would mean that it's not allowed to export from the US, and then nobody outside of the US can use it.
We could do that. So GDPR at the same time, it would be nice to have. It would be great to have, but people will probably do their own stuff because they always have custom requirements in terms of with scripts and everything. So a default module would be nice. So that, and also SL script management with Let's Encrypt would be nice when we are not on the app services. Would be super nice. So new sites from Edge, and they tweeted that they had a platform, a SaaS solution, or at least a reusable set of modules that they called the Edge Play CMS module, on which they can redo the same game websites again. That's cool. Bertrand pointed me to an update on the GitHub sponsors a few weeks ago. He's not here. So if we go to GitHub now, here, so that's not it. It's not here, but he pointed me to I don't know where it is, but there is somewhere now you can configure. So if I go to settings, maybe you can see that. Sponsors, is there something with sponsors here? I can't find it. Oh, maybe at the org level.
Organization, yeah.
Okay. Settings, sponsors. Can't find it. There is a new thing. So we talked about sponsorship and we talked about Open Collective, and now GitHub supports organizational sponsorship and is able to directly use Open Collective or any organization that we want to use, and they will handle everything to create the organization. So that means that it will be integrated in GitHub, but follow the format of Open Collective. So there is a new thing here, and apparently that's the thing I think we should go with. I didn't get an answer from the .NET Foundation to my questions about that, so I will ask them again. But there is that, which is new. Thank you. Which is new compared to the last time we talked about it. That's my own dashboard. GitHub sponsor eligible account. Yeah, and you saw the button to join the wait list. Yes, that's it. Okay. And you see, you can give my own bank account and explain which organization you want to create if you don't have one. Does not have a non-profit status. This organization has non-profit status and can receive tax. But where is the open? There was I saw a form where you could say which site you want to use to create the organization. Or this one using as an organization. I will find it.
Isn't like GitHub sponsors orthogonal to Open Collective, because they are like Open Collective as well, but you can also use Open Collective under.
Yes, but the idea would be that users of GitHub could just stay in GitHub to sponsor. So if we go on Open Collective, users have to go on Open Collective and then found in Open Collective.
Yeah, I mean that's why use Open Collective. We can also use GitHub.
Yes.
And I think they actually don't take a cut, and what's more, they can also match to an extent.
They don't match anymore since the 1st of January.
Oh, well, not anymore.
But they match the first year, not after. But no, the idea is that you will sponsor the project and not individuals. With GitHub Sponsor before that, you had to sponsor individuals. Okay. And now you can also sponsor a project, and then the community is responsible to assign the funds to whatever they want. But the nice thing is that it's integrated in GitHub. It's not a separate website. So you can manage all your GitHub sponsorships for individuals and for organizations in the same site. That's the idea.
What's missing still is being able to sponsor as an organization. So right now, you can't as a company just with workarounds.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So then I've seen some companies have accounts and sponsor. So I don't see why you say it's not possible.
Yeah, well, what they do is that they are creating a user account, which would be a technical user. Yeah, but that's a workaround.
Well, you create you create your company's account. That's fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to create a separate user account just for sponsors. So this is a workaround, which is possible today. But they are also working on making this actually usable.
Because wherever you go on a site, you have to create an account. Even if you want to pay for your company, you create an account. You give it the name of. You have a representative, but yeah, that's an account. You have a Lombiq account. That will be your account.
I mean, that's not what I mean. On GitHub, if you have an organization, you can't sponsor somebody else as the organization. You have to create a separate user account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that's a big issue for us.
Yeah,
it's better. At least I think it's better to provide the option for people to sponsor. And if GitHub makes it easier then for other organizations to sponsor organizations, that's good. But the first step is to enable that. So just an update on the last discussion we had a month ago about that. And then, blah, blah. Oh, there is a Medium articles. I will get them in the notes. So if someone asks for them, I will have them. And then done. Demo. Zoltan, do you want to do demo instead of Dean?
Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, please make me a presenter if that's necessary. Otherwise, I'm moving between desktops now.
Everyone is a presenter. It's just in the old days, we had to assign someone a presenter. Did we lose Zoltan? Probably.
He said he was connecting to another machine or something, didn't he?
Yeah, desktop, whatever, but.
Seb, meanwhile, may I ask something?
Yes. Oh, I see your hand. Sorry, I was
yeah.
like, what is this? Is your... Sorry.
Turn again. Okay, I have some problems with localization and taxonomies. May we use Thursday meeting that you asked to talk about
Yes.
these issues?
Yes, and it's early, so it's better for you.
Okay. Cool, thanks.
You?
10
a.m. Pacific time, so 2 hours before the Tuesday meeting.
Okay, cool. Better.
Yeah, I'm back in the meantime. Sorry about that. I disconnected at the moment. I wanted to start screen sharing. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here is this helpful extension module of ours. It's a very old module. It's like, I don't know, 7 years old, starting with Orchard 1, and it has an Orchard core version as well. And one of the features that was there in the Orchard 1 version but was lacking in the core version is code generation. So let me show you what that does, because we can generate code for migrations. So if you enable the module, or well, the feature of this module, which is the code generation helpful extensions, then what will happen is that under the content type editors, not on the content part ones, but on the content type editors, you will have some code generation feature. Let's check out page. This site was set up with the agency team and the recipe. So it does have this built-in page content type. And now we have this this toggle button here. And as you can see, now we have the piece of code that you have to put into a migration class generated, together with all the options and all the settings classes. So where this is useful is that you can just throw together content types from the admin area, of course, with your own content parts, with fields. So here are no fields, but fields are also supported, using all kinds of settings. And then you can just click this button, get the code, and put it into your module. So it's reusable, and you can change them in a versioned way. This was partially this was inspired by one question related to our training demo module about how to create a field, how to add taxonomy fields in migration classes. And I thought that let's have a code generation feature instead, because that kind of answers all of your questions about how to create migration code for something related to content types or content parts. If the content parts have some kind of configuration, as you can see, those are generated here as well. And as I said, with fields too, the views have a different alter part definition line here if there will be something more involved. Yeah, so that's it, just a small new feature.
Cool, thank you. Is it automatically finding the settings, or did you hard code for every part what settings to?
It's automatically finding them, as long as the name of the class and the name of the JObject name or whatever matches.
By convention.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet. Dean.
I also tweeted about it.
Custom settings. Oh my God, we'll be able to do that.
Shall we do custom settings? We've got 5 minutes. That's great, Zoltan. Looks nice. So let me know when you can see the screen.
Yes, and make it a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
It's recording. Thank you.
So this is actually another site also set up with the agency landing page, and we wanted to do a demo for ages now on custom settings, because they're quite a useful feature that some people know about and some people maybe don't. So just so you know, here is the documentation on them. What they're useful for, I use them quite regularly when I'm actually building a site, and I don't want to write a module which has a settings section in it. So I'm able to create some custom settings for my site based on code. Sorry, based on content types. So I can just make, say, the company brand settings, content type, and I'll put a title part on that. And then I can put a stereotype of custom settings on it, which just identifies to the custom settings module that it's this content type is specifically for that. I'll remove the creatable and listable because you don't create them as you normally would in the UI. But I'll put a couple of fields on. Maybe for the logo as well. One of the big advantages with this approach is you can just use any of your standard fields or parts. I forgot to save it before. Which means you can have easy access to a media picker if you've got images that are kind of reused throughout the website. So I'll save that, and then if we go down into settings, we have some custom settings available. So I don't really need the title in this particular case, but or Acme perhaps. We'll pick one of the logos from here because they're already in the library. And then we'll save that. And then these are all just available on the site property or through site services as a JObject. So here is an example of accessing some settings for a PR that Antoine's been working on for just some basic theme settings. But for the one we created, we might put these just in the layout file. Whatever I called it, I think it was companybrand.content. And then you have access to that property, or the logo property would be something along those lines. So really simple to use. You can create lots of them. We have another one here, which is part of a PR just to provide the favicons and the footer icons, or a footer snippet. And this one is named specifically for the agency theme. And we have another one for the blog theme, so that if you were to kind of change themes during your after you've run your recipe, it would introduce the blog theme settings, which would obviously have a different favicon and would be configured differently. So yeah, after a month or so, there's custom settings.
Thank you. Perfect.
And I think the intention is that we'll try and do something similar at some point for
users.
Or users. And I was thinking that we might put a little drop down here so that you can, rather than going to this edit screen, you can choose to go to a drop down here for a custom piece of information about a user that's just designable through the admin without having to write any code.
I mean, that, or when you click on edit, you have tabs.
Yeah, I mean, you could do tabs, but each one needs to be saved individually, which is a bit of a weird thing with tabs. So quite easy to not, but either way, I think it would be a really nice feature because people have asked about this many times.
They don't have to be saved individually. They could be saved all together.
They could, but I think the way the custom settings works is it's a controller that it hits to do it, but I'd have to check that.
You have to check.
I'm not sure. I don't think it hits the admin. I don't think it hits the standard admin controller to save them. I think it hits one of its.
It will have its own controller and it will work. Yeah. Otherwise, the little tab will be, the little drop down will be weird. So okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that would be a nice feature. I think if somebody ever wants to work on it, most of the code is there already. You just need to port it over.
And I think if someone can find the link to the issue we commented recently about that. I know I commented on that, but I don't remember which context. Explaining that, and we talked about custom settings, and we can already do that, but with code, but not declaratively. So that's the idea. Okay, thank you. All good. One second, sharing screen. And I think that's it. Any other question? Do we miss anything? Perfect, then. So let's end it. Next time we meet is on Thursday, 10 a.m. and otherwise next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.